Hello, you are listening to Quality Time, a podcast designed to support Nebraskan providers through their journey with Step Up to Quality. I am your host, Colleen Schmidt. Get ready to listen as we prepare to elevate each other as we step up to quality. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, listeners. We're happy you're tuning in. Today, I am speaking with Julie Warford. Julie is here to share with us a little bit about her expertise and knowledge of the T.E.A.C.H program. And this really is a wonderful opportunity for our educators and providers here in Nebraska to grow. And I cannot wait for Julie to share with you all of the wealth of knowledge that she knows about the T.E.A.C.H program. And we're just going to dive in and kind of chat about it. So I'm so happy to have Julie here. And Julie, can you just start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do with T.E.A.C.H?
Thank you for having me. My name is Julie Warford, and I have been the Teach Early Childhood Nebraska Scholarship Counselor for the Nebraska Association for the Education of Young Children since January of 2014. I live in Wahoo with my husband, Carl, and our three children, Kylie, Ellie, and Carson. Educationally, background about me, I received my Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education from Nebraska Wesleyan University in 2003. And I then worked on my Master of Education degree with an emphasis in early childhood education from Concordia University in 2012. And before joining the staff of Nebraska AUIC, I was a preschool teacher and assistant director of a privately owned preschool and childcare center in Papillion. And I was also a kindergarten teacher for Prague Public Schools, an early Head Start lead teacher for Educare of Lincoln. And then I was also a pre-K through 12th grade substitute teacher for a variety of school districts as well.
Julie, I didn't know all that about you.
Oh, yeah.
You and I have similar paths. I still work as a substitute teacher here in Nebraska. I also taught kindergarten. I also went to Concordia like that and graduated around the same time. So that's funny. I'm glad our paths are crossing. And I also love that you have that experience that a lot of our listeners can relate to. Like, you've been in the classrooms working with the kiddos. So you can kind of have a lot of empathy of what that looks like and what that means. So I love that. I didn't know all those fun facts about you, Julie. So that's fun to know. Well, let's get into some of the nitty gritty. Let's dive on in. First of all, tell us what T.E.A.C.H stands for, because it's an acronym. And then if you could just give us some basic information on how the T.E.A.C.H program can impact our educators and providers here in Nebraska.
Sure. So, like you said, the T.E.A.C.H is an acronym, and it stands for Teacher Education and Compensation Helps. Our purpose is to award scholarships in order to help the early childhood workforce complete a degree in early childhood education and come out of college debt-free. T.E.A.C.H is a nationally licensed program that started in 1990 in North Carolina, and it's now in over 20 states. It began here in Nebraska in 2001, and we awarded the first scholarship in 2002. All of our scholarships are a partnership between me here at T.E.A.C.H, the student, and then their sponsoring program, the program they work for. But the ultimate purpose of the T.E.A.C.H scholarship has consistently been to positively impact the quality of early childhood education through increased teacher education, increased compensation for the workforce, and to increase the continuity of care for the children that our recipients work for.
I love so much of what you just said right there. So the first thing that I take away from that, where I'm like, yes, is the debt-free part.
Oh, yes.
That's huge. I had student loans and student debt and all those things going through, and it just kind of is a hard way to start off. So the fact that that is a goal and an opportunity, the other things that I heard you say was the positive impact that we're looking to support for continuity of care, for compensation of our providers and educators here, and also, positively impacting their education, their understanding of how to do their job, what they're already doing really well, and how to do it even better, how to grow. So, oh my gosh, I feel like this is a juicy podcast because we're going to give people some actual info that they can take and possibly apply. So what are the requirements for the scholarship? First of all, tell us what the requirements are. And also, is there an online option for me to use my scholarship? Let's pretend I'm just starting out. I'm a busy mama, maybe even a single mama or dada. And I don't know that I have the time to spend going and sitting in a, physical setting. So what are the requirements, and can I do it online? Is there an option for that?
Sure. So the requirements are fairly simple. You have to be a child care teacher or an assistant teacher, a director employee of a program or the director owner of a program, a family child care provider, a Head Start teacher assistant or director, or a public school pre-K teacher. And all of the scholarships require you to be working in a licensed child care program, Head Start, or approved public school pre-K program. And your program that you're working for has to agree to sponsor you. You also have to be working at least 30 hours per week or more. And then you also have to be earning less than $17.50 per hour. And this rate of pay requirement we're trying to increase or maybe even do away with so we can qualify even more people for the T.E.A.C.H scholarship. So all of our scholarships right now that we have available are for associate and bachelor degrees in early childhood education at all of our community colleges here in Nebraska. And then we do partner with 5 bachelor degree schools. And that would be the University of Nebraska at Kearney, the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, Chadron State College, Peru State College, and Wayne State College. And most of our students take their classes online. It's definitely a more convenient option for them. And more schools are offering all of the classes required for their degree entirely online these days. Out of those 5 bachelor degree schools, 99% of our bachelor degree students go to UNK because their program's entirely online for sure.
Wow. So it sounds like we have a lot of options. And it also, it sounds like you're really trying to reach as many stakeholders as possible, because when you were listing off, one of the things that I heard was if you are an owner of, if you have your own business, that's huge. Yes. It's not just about, we're only looking for applicants who are pre-K public school teachers. Like it's beyond that. I love it. It makes me really excited when I hear that there are so many options for so many different folks wearing different hats in Nebraska. Yeah. It's just going to make what we do here better. That's, it's just going to make how we're able to serve our babies and kiddos in Nebraska even stronger than what we're already doing. So cool. All right. Now, I did pick up on you saying that I need to have at least 30 hours a week that I'm working, right? So I have to, that's pretty close to full time, or is full time. But let's talk about balance. Talk to me a little bit about that. You've been in that role of being in a childcare center working, or even in, I think you mentioned you worked at you were a kindergarten teacher. You've worked in the elementary buildings. You wore a bunch of different hats, worked at Educare too, all these things. Let's talk about balance. Let's say I apply, I get the scholarship, I sign up. I'm like, yes, Julie, I'm excited. Put me in, here I go. How do I balance it all? Do you have tips on that? Like, how do I balance taking the schoolwork on while also working my full-time hours in my early childhood setting?
Sure.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Okay, so our scholarship is designed for part-time students, full-time employees. So most of our recipients only take one class at a time. So that way they find success and they don't get overwhelmed with a full course load and a full-time job and a personal life. Something that we offer to help our students keep their heads above water, if you will, is something called release time. And release time is 4 hours per week of paid time off for our students to go to class, to study, or attend to personal needs. And our students can use this release time however they need to. If they need to use it to go to campus to take a class, they can use it for that. If they need to use it to study, they can use it for that. If they need to use it to go get groceries or to take a nap so they can be their best self when their family is home, they can use it for that too. So how release time works, the sponsoring program will pay the student for their time away from their program at their normal rate of pay. And then T.E.A.C.H will reimburse their program for half of that time at $10 per hour. So an example of this is if a student is normally scheduled to work 40 hours per week, they would only be scheduled for 36 while classes are in session and they're enrolled, but they're still going to be paid for all 40 hours. We have a special form that our students keep track of their release time on. And at the end of the term, they turn this form into me, and then I can reimburse the program for that sub that helped cover their class while they take advantage of this release time. So go ahead.
I love everything you're saying, Julie. Keep going.
Release time can be a little bit difficult for sponsoring programs to provide. I know right now, in February of 2022, there's kind of a staffing crisis going on in our childcare program. So release time can be a little bit more difficult these days compared to days gone by. But programs can offer release time however they need to. They know their programs best. So if a program is going to let you take one full day off every 2 weeks, they can do that. If they're going to let you take one afternoon off once a week, they can do that. If it's an hour early, 4 days a week, they can do that. If we have a snow day and you're not paid for that snow day, you can use release time for that. So we are all about the flexibility and however programs can offer that release time, because that is the most important thing for our T.E.A.C.H students to receive, is that release time from their program. Now, this scholarship is available for family childcare providers too. And so they don't necessarily have release time, but they get a sub reimbursement. So if they need to pay for a sub to come into their program so they can do their things they need to do to be a successful student, we will pay them for that sub. If they don't need a sub, they still get that sub reimbursement. So it's kind of like we're paying them to go to school while they're being a family childcare provider.
Oh, it just feels so user-friendly to me. And it also feels like honoring where people are. Like, let's keep it real. You talked about the elephant in the room with staffing crisis, and you know your center best or your business best and what's going to work for you. I also love that there's no one kind of like, if I'm a recipient of the T.E.A.C.H scholarship and I'm taking my one course, and that feels really good to me too already. Like that's like when we're talking about balance, it's like you're taking one class at a time, but no one is coming in and saying how I should use my release time. Like what you said, like if I need to use it to take a nap and recharge my batteries so I can be a bright light and continue on this path. I love that. That just gives people ownership of being a professional and of their time. So cool.
Yes.
I just love it. I love it, Julie. All right. Now let's say that I am a recipient of the T.E.A.C.H scholarship. I go through the entire shebang and I come out with a degree and I'm all done. And Julie says, "Yay, you did it." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of myself. I did it." Are there requirements for me for the after? What happens after?
I'm really glad question because this is the most serious aspect of the T.E.A.C.H scholarship. So backing up a little bit, each recipient will sign a contract each year for however long it takes to complete their coursework. So we have a majority of our students taking one class at a time. We do have some students that can handle more than one class at a time, and we support those students just the same. So this contract that they sign every year, they have a minimum number of credits to complete. And they're also agreeing to get at least a C or above in all their classes. And then here it is, they have to agree to remain at their sponsoring program for 12 to 18 months after they complete their coursework. This is what we call the commitment period. And this is their thank you to their sponsoring program for their support in getting a higher education. Also, at the completion of each contract, recipients get either a raise from their sponsoring program or they get a bonus from their sponsoring program. And again, this is another way of telling them thank you for that investment. Us here at the T.E.A.C.H scholarship, for every contract they complete, they also get a bonus from us too. So again, we're kind of helping by paying you to go to school to increase your education.
Wow. I love it. And I think laying it all out on the line like that is important for listeners to hear who are maybe new to this and maybe considering like, ooh, this sounds amazing. Sign me up. Like knowing about that commitment period of 12 to 18 months saying, I will stay with you. You helped me get through. You helped me get my degree. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm here. And just the compensation of it all, like this it just feels almost like a win-win for not only the recipient, but also for their program that they're working with or if you're the owner as well of your own family child care setting. So I just think that it is so far, Julie, like I'm all in, like everything that you're saying. I just feel like I wish we could shout it from the rooftops so people know that this is available. All right, let's talk turkey. Let's talk cost.
Yes.
Is there cost out of the pocket of a recipient? Like what is a typical cost for coursework?
So recipients and their sponsoring programs are responsible for 10% of the cost of tuition and books, and then T.E.A.C.H will pay the other 80%. And T.E.A.C.H technically pays 100% of this upfront, and then we will ask the students and their sponsoring programs to pay their 10% later on in the term. So what does 10% look like? It does depend on where you go to school, but since most of our students attend Metro Community College, I will use that as an example. So for the current school year, it costs $71 per credit at Metro. Most classes there are 4.5. So I take 71 times 4.5 and I get $213 for one class. 10% of that is $21.30. So $21.30 is what a recipient and what a sponsoring program would be responsible for. And that doesn't count books because books are all over the board. We can estimate about $100 in books every term, sometimes more, sometimes less. So 10% of $100 is another $10. So about $31.30 for one class. However, every recipient receives a travel stipend, whether they take a class on campus or they're taking their class online. At Metro, it's $75. They're the only quarter system school in Nebraska. All of our other colleges are on the semester system. So if you're going to any of those other schools, you're going to get a $95 travel stipend instead. So we take that 10% out of that travel stipend and then send them the remaining amount. So again, it's like we're paying you to go to school to get your early childhood degree.
Yeah, win-win. Again, this is great. I think that you're sharing so much like, thank you for mapping it out this way. Because if we just say it's 10% and I'm listening to this, I'm like, well, I don't even know how much it costs to go to Metro or to go to UNK or to what a credit will cost me. And when you're telling me like $21.30 and then maybe another give or take $10 for books, that feels manageable to me. That feels comfortable. All right. Now you mentioned Metro. Let's say that I earn my associate's degree through a T.E.A.C.H scholarship. And I loved my experience. And I was like, gosh, that was awesome. And I'm so proud of myself. And I now have my associate's degree and I want more. I want to go back in. Am I able to also go back and apply for a bachelor's degree through T.E.A.C.H?
Absolutely. We have many students that get their associate degree and then they will roll over into a bachelor degree scholarship. Now, to qualify for a bachelor degree scholarship, students need to have enough credits to transfer in at junior standing, which is 60 credits. However, most schools only take about half of that, unfortunately. So for these students, we will put them on a bachelor degree gap scholarship model option. So this means they're going to take transferable classes at a community college first, where they're considerably cheaper. And then before they take any of the classes at their bachelor degree school. So they're still working on their bachelor's degree, but they're just taking these classes where they're cheaper first and saving them and the T.E.A.C.H scholarship some money.
Yes. I mean, I feel like you guys have thought of everything. I know you have, because you've been rolling this out for a long time here in Nebraska. Like, this just seems really streamlined and smooth. Okay, sign me up. Where do I apply? Let's pretend that I am like, oh yes, I want on that path. I'm going to start with my associate's degree. If things are feeling good and comfortable for me, I'm reaching for the stars. I want that bachelor's degree too. Where do I apply? How do listeners know, where do they apply for the scholarship? And is there a limit to how many applicants can apply?
Sure. You can contact me directly to request an application packet, or you can go to our website, which is nebraskaaeyc.org. And we have an education section where you can find one there. We accept applications year round and we don't have a wait list. Plus, at this time, I wanted to mention a new program that we hope to expand with ARPA funding. And that's called childcare wages. And right now, it's currently just being offered to family childcare providers, but I want to mention it now because we're hopeful that we're going to be able to expand it to all early childhood educators with this ARPA funding we're still waiting to find out about. And just a brief overview of this. On this program, recipients receive a supplement based on the amount of education they have on our scale. So basically, the more education you have in early childhood, the more money we're going to give you. The lowest amount on our scale is $300 and the highest amount is $3,500. So our wages recipients can use the T.E.A.C.H scholarship as well to help them move up on the scale. So if this is something that anyone listening would be interested in, you can find more information on our website too about childcare wages there, or contact me.
So cool, Julie. Like, I love how you're talking about wages and giving us kind of this hopeful glimpse of maybe someday it will include not just our family providers, but more folks here who are working towards bettering their education and growing as a professional. But the fact that it's going to be able to connect with T.E.A.C.H, that's amazing. Yeah, I love it. Oh, I'm so glad you shared about wages too. That's awesome. Yeah, good info. Okay, Julie, is there any last little things that you feel like you want to touch upon or add in about the T.E.A.C.H program or T.E.A.C H scholarship?
I just want to say that sometimes people think this opportunity is too good to be true, but it really is true. And it's an excellent opportunity. If you are in a program where you're very happy and you're not going anywhere, and they're going to support you in increasing your education, this scholarship is for you to take advantage of.
I love that. It does sound too good to be true. It really does. When you're going through it, I'm like, whoa, wow. It's like I mentioned, I want everyone to know about this. And yes, if you're happy where you are, you love what you do, you picture yourself holding those babies and, on the carpet, singing and dancing for years to come, like, please, please, please. Yeah. Consider applying. Like, this is great info. Julie, I'm so glad you shared all this with us today. This was perfect. You just laid it out on the line in a way that I think listeners will find that it's easy to understand. Julie also shared with you all, her information on where to contact her. She said, you can just email me. That's so great. You might get a whole bunch of emails all of a sudden, Julie, but I think that's the goal. And linking up again with the Nebraska Education Association of Young Children's website, where Julie said you find all this good stuff right there too. So this is great. All right, Julie, we like to end the Stepping Up podcast the same way with every guest that we've had come on, by asking them the same question. So we want you to tell our listeners, what's your why, Julie? Like, tell us why you love what you do. Why do you keep showing up for your job?
Sure. So I have a dove wrapper framed in my office that says, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And I never found one before, and I haven't found one since. And I opened that wrapper up here in my office. So that was definitely one I was keeping. I believe in the purpose of the T.E.A.C.H scholarship. I know the potential of our early childhood workforce. Getting a degree will not only benefit them, but the children they work with, because the more our teachers know, the more our children will know too. And getting your degree without college debt is pretty great as well.
I love that. Oh, thanks for sharing about the dove wrapper. That gave me goosebumps. I love that. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. I think that dove wrapper is exactly right, Julie. I think you're doing good work, and we appreciate you. And I'm so happy you were able to come and join our podcast. So thank you for coming. This was just good info. I loved it. Love chatting with you. And thank you, everyone, for spending quality time with us. Please join again as we chat about future topics to support our Nebraskan providers on their journey with Step Up to Quality. Until next time, bye-bye.